Hi there.
Hey, Patrick,
Hey.
here.
Yeah, sorry. I got to learn my lesson here. I got to try and tune into these things about 10 minutes early because it just takes forever to get on. I don't know what's going on here, but thank you very much for having me on your channel. I'm so sorry I'm late.
Oh, it's no problem. I'm glad you're here. I was having problems even getting Instagram wouldn't let me go live.
Yeah.
So I think, they're trying their best to keep us down, but,
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks for being here. We got a hard stop at the hour, so we got about 20 minutes, but
Let's
I
do
want
it.
to get your whole story. I want to introduce my viewers to you.
Okay.
So I'll make that introduction, and then anything you want to add on, and then pretty much the next 20 minutes are yours to just tell your story, get your message out there. But
I'll start with my credentials because people look at me and they see the long hair and they see that I'm a little bit manic right now, and they see that I have all this angry energy and I swear a lot, and so they think this guy can't be an officer and he doesn't have valid credentials. So I want you guys to hear me out. I was an officer, and I still technically am. I still have the badge in my wallet. A federal law enforcement officer for the government of Canada. So you live in the States, correct, sir?
yes.
Yeah. So you guys protect your borders. You guys have what's called US CBP, US Customs and Border Protection. They work under the Department of Homeland Security. They work with US Border Patrol. You guys have an incredible operation to secure your borders in the US. You guys have air support. You guys work with the Coast Guard. You guys have an incredible operation to protect your country, and for damn good reason. You see, up here in Canada, we're a little bit late to the party. We created an agency to protect our border because of external pressure from you guys. The United States was like, hey, so 9/11 has happened. We won't go into that, but 9/11 has happened. We're now ramping up national security. You guys are just north of us, and we see a bit of a weakness here. You guys are kind of a soft target, really easy to get into, and then the border between Canada and the US is really just an imaginary line. That's all it is. It's an imaginary line, okay? So under pressure from external governments, the government of Canada thought, we don't actually care about our own national security, but we probably should make it look like we do. So they created the Canada Border Services Agency. And slowly over time, since the beginning, the officers on the front line have always had the powers that they have now. So you see them now with these outrageous powers where like they could stop you, question you, search you without cause, all under the guise of national security, okay? So I say guys, but really it's for the purpose of national security. They've always had these powers, but did the government give them the tools and the resources and the training necessary to enforce all of these powers? No, they didn't. It was the officers on the front line risking their lives day in and day out who were first, I shit you not, at one point in time at our border, if you came across someone and you had to arrest them, not only did you have no gun, no baton, no pepper spray. Maybe if you were lucky, you had a bulletproof vest, but most likely not. And even nowadays, half of them are expired out there. Okay. So they had handcuffs to share for everyone. So if you had someone that you needed to arrest, you had to go and ask a supervisor to unlock a safe and give you the handcuffs. What a farce. Okay. But slowly over time, the agency has been built from the ground up by the people on the front line, as in fighting and arguing with the employer, the government of Canada, to give us the tools that we need to do the job, the very important job at the border. And what happens is over time, it's only when the people realize what's going on that the government then goes, okay, fuck, we have to now give them what they've been asking for. We have to now give them the tools to keep the country safe. So I've been watching this now, and ever since I joined, I'm starting to realize now why all of a sudden these agencies don't really want people with life experience. They now just want you to come straight out of university. It used to be they wanted you to, have university or go into a trade, develop your life experiences, and then by the time you apply, you already have the core competencies to apply. That's how any law enforcement entity, they want you to already be everything they're looking for in an officer, because every officer has incredible individual power. It all comes down to your individual thought, your individual competencies, and you make the decisions. You enforce the law on behalf of the people, not on behalf of the government, not on behalf of the employer, because they've proven time and time again to us officers. I'm talking to officers right now. You guys know that the employer doesn't care about public safety. They don't. Like, this is common sense to officers on the front line. It's us who care. It's us who care. We're the ones that do the job. We hold each other accountable. You see, I have a really good reputation from my time in the field. I really do. There's a reason why I'm so confident coming out here and just spilling everything, because I'm still showcasing my integrity to the public. That's what I'm doing. So even though I'm off on disability right now, not working, you guys might think I'm crazy, believe it or not. This is me living up to my promise to Canadians still, right now. I took that oath goddamn seriously, but I guess the rest of the country maybe didn't, or maybe they forgot. Because for some reason, officers are just trusting the employer. Blind trust, like blindly trusting the government of Canada works at the border. And I've tried to explain this in other videos to some people, and I use the narcotics analogy. We all agree that there is a problem nationwide in the US and in Canada and all over the world with drug addiction. We all recognize that that's a problem. So seizing narcotics, drug busts, all of that, that's stuff that the public wants to see in the papers, right? Because a drug addict becomes obvious over time. They start to exhibit the physical symptoms. They literally start to degrade as a human in front of you, and you can go, that's a drug addict right there. You start to see it, it becomes obvious, and then they behave in a way that also gives off indicators. They now start breaking into homes and cars and doing whatever they can to buy their drugs, so it becomes really obvious, and all of society goes, hey, we need to deal with this drug addiction problem. But does it become obvious over time when there's a pedophile out in public? I don't think it does. I think pedophiles get better at hiding their tracks over time. I know this for a fact because I've spoken to them. You see, we're trained to see through illusions. We're trained to see past bullshit, make-believe nonsense. You can wear a suit and you can be as clean cut as you can possibly be. I'm not looking at any of that. Ever. 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 You can fire me and I will still always have this training now. I will always see past it, and I will always judge people based on the other languages. Not just what they're saying, not just the noises that are coming out of their mouths, because it's just noise. I'm watching the person. I'm looking at their eyes. I'm establishing a baseline. I'm asking them basic questions, and then I'll get to what I really want to know. And when I see a dip in their behavior and their personality, I'll ask another question that's off the baseline, and I'll see if they react the same way. And this is how it works. We see past through the illusions. So for all of you out there that think maybe I'm just nuts, I don't have any credentials, I do. See past the illusion of what you're seeing now. Because what you're seeing now is a human being who absolutely could not believe what was happening in the field. I had front row tickets to the shit show, guys. State of emergency first declared here in a province in Canada, but it wasn't a national state of emergency yet. So the province was closed, but still international flights are coming in and the borders are still open, and it just didn't make any sense whatsoever. Then it became a national security issue and the borders were closed. And I'm telling you, it blows my mind. It blows my absolute fucking mind that officers who have known for years that the employer is, if you don't want to believe that they're corrupt, at least I can convince everyone in the world that they're dysfunctional as hell. And we should not be looking to the government ever, under no circumstances, to be our leaders when it comes to solving a crisis or solving a problem, because they are simply incapable of doing anything effectively or efficiently. And even if they were, they don't care about public safety whatsoever. And I could sit here and I could talk to you for a week straight, nonstop, without ever taking a breath, about just my firsthand experiences. And guess what? Ever since I've come public, my email is just full of RCMP officers, CBSA officers, correctional officers, every law enforcement agency under the sun in this country. People are reaching out because they're panicking. They're starting to go, hey, whoa, what's going on with this fucking mandated poison? What, every 6 months for the rest of my career now until I die? I'm going to have to take this jab? Is this what's going on? Doesn't seem very right. Doesn't seem very smart. Doesn't seem very healthy. And it's going to be really hard to convince a lot of officers out there that ultimately, most of you are going to lose your jobs, but it'd be better for the government if you just died. It really would. It would be better for the government if you suddenly died from something that they could deny they had any involvement in, like a sudden stroke or a heart attack. Something where the payout is way less than if they fired you wrongfully. See what I'm saying? So I just kind of rambled. I tried to get as much information out there as possible. I worked for the Canada Border Services Agency for 5 years. I spent 2 years at Fort Erie Traffic. I then transferred to headquarters, where front row tickets to the shit show there. I got to see all kinds of corruption right in the belly of the beast. All of it. And it's all very easy to prove. And it's funny now. I think it's been about a week since I've come public as an officer. They haven't reached out. The government has not reached out. The employer has not reached out. No news reporters have reached out. Nobody. Because they want to sweep this under the rug, and they don't know what they're going to do with me just yet. They have no idea. So it'll be very interesting to see this play out, because I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life until I die into exposing the corruption in the government of Canada. I've got eyewitness testimony, and I've got countless other officers all over the nation who are willing to testify as well. So if they don't realize that this is happening, if they don't realize that there's going to be an uprising within law enforcement because we have the power, not them. Have you ever had a superintendent try and overrule one of your arrests, officers? Doesn't go so well for them because you have the power. So I want to encourage officers, especially in Canada. Right now, while you're all twiddling your thumbs, pretending to be dealing with the deadliest fucking virus ever, even though we all know you're not. We all know you're not. You can maybe just do a little bit of research and start a discussion at work. What type of authority do we really have here under the law? Forget policy, because the government of Canada creates policy that they think can supersede the law, but it doesn't. Okay? So just because they haven't necessarily given officers in the field the right training yet, under the law, they have incredible power. Incredible power. And I want officers to focus on national security and recognize that right now, one of our biggest threats to the nation is what's happening internally in the government. You guys are all trained observers. You can analyze data. That's what you're all trained to do. So open your eyes and turn off global news, for one, because global news is not giving you the data. You're going to have to do a little bit of digging and a little bit of investigative work, which is what we're all trained to do. So do what I've been doing for the past year and a half. A little bit of digging, a little bit of investigating. But because if you go down my feed, I didn't come out publicly as an officer. I kind of did my own investigation at some of these rallies. I went to the rallies because apparently they're all white supremacist terrorists, and they want nothing but to cause division and hatred within our country. So I went and I found out for myself. Not even remotely true. Not even remotely true. So how about all you officers on your next day off, go to a rally? You can wear a mask if you're still brainwashed, because no one's going to judge you. No one's going to say anything. It's only when you're out in public and you're not wearing a mask that you get judged and hated. And no. So you guys are picking the wrong side. You're believing the wrong news sources. You're looking at the wrong data, and you're trusting the corrupt motherfuckers at the top. Unacceptable. When have they ever led from the front? Never. They always lead from the back. It's always been the officers at the bottom, the superintendents, the real experts, since we're all focused on experts now and who the experts are. I'm telling you right now, you're not an expert if you go, and you can barely get through your 3-sentence script. For fuck's sakes. It's just so obvious. And yeah, I have lost my mind a little bit because I'm watching officers all around me get psyoped by global news and CP24. Like it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. So for a year, I was trying to talk like just some sense to my coworkers, and I was getting hit with backlash, hatred. Like, now I'm a Trump supporter. I'm the least political person on planet Earth. The least political. And I started becoming vocal about the mask nonsense in schools because I could just tell it's common sense that at that point in time, children were, if you have a high school math diploma, then you can understand that children are the lowest risk age category. They most certainly shouldn't be suffering through a dirty, spit-soaked, bacteria-infested rag all day at school. Not the smartest idea. Kind of child abuse, right? I see it as child abuse. So when I first started becoming vocal about this, People got upset with me. Upset because it like insults them and it hurts their ego. Don't get insulted. Don't let it hurt your ego. Just snap out of the trance. You can snap out of it at any moment in time. Any moment in time. And for you men out there that are on the fence, take a look at my DMs, and I'm telling you right now, women find it very attractive when you just take the fucking mask off your face. So if I can't motivate you to remember your oath, maybe, just maybe, you'll do it to maybe get a few dates. I don't know, like, just open up your eyes here, guys. Maybe you should start exercising, not for the benefit of your immune system, but maybe just because you'll look a little bit better naked. Like, I'm going to talk to the lowest common denominators in society here, because if you just start exercising, even if it's for a vain purpose, like, I just want to look better naked, you're going to get the byproduct of all the other benefits too. You're going to get the health benefits, and you're going to get the better immune system. And you're slowly going to learn over time, the more you try, you're going to learn through your own experiences how to exercise better and smarter. And you're going to naturally want to drink more water. And you're going to naturally want to drink better food. And you're going to start meeting other people in these gyms who are also interested in fitness. And that's how it starts. So we could start as something as vain as like, I just want to look better naked and have a harder erection and be able to fuck like a rock star in bed, but then you're also going to be doing your part to keep our community safe, because you're now not going to exhibit just disgusting, gross COVID symptoms all over the community. And when you don't have any symptoms, I'm sorry, there's no such thing as a super spreader. There isn't. Anyways, I talked a lot. Your turn.
Okay, sure. Yeah. You said a lot here. There's a lot going on, obviously. We got a few minutes left, so I just want to focus on, this was a new thing that they decided to mandate the jab for all federal employees, right?
Yeah.
And so I knew it was coming. They're trying to do that here with mandating it for hospital employees and healthcare workers.
How insane is that?
Yeah.
So insane. They've been working this whole time without it, risking their lives this whole time without it. Now you guys are going to try and force an experimental injection on them? This is outrageous. So outrageous.
Yeah. So we got a few minutes left. Let's talk about what we can do to resist. Because I think, like you mentioned, there's a lot of people sending you emails like, hey, what do I got to do to get out of this? Same with me. I'm getting messages from hospital workers, all kinds of people in healthcare. Hey, what do I do to get out of this? And it's like, how do I file a little piece of paper and they leave me alone? It's like, no, you got to stand up and fight. Yeah, it's not going to work, because there are things like, there's notice of liability forms, and you can do all these things to intimidate your employer. But it's all case by case scenarios, right? And you don't have the time of the day to look at everyone's case and try and give them ideas. Some of these cases are outrageous, because some people are in positions where they're like, I've been on the job 5 years as a casual, working full-time hours, and I get my full-time contract in 6 months. If I don't take this jab, they'll just not renew my contract. I won't get full-time. I won't have the benefit. I'm getting these messages from like correctional officers. So they're in a really awful position, because it's not like they can just do what I could do and say, fuck you. Like I would literally walk into work, laugh at them and say no. And I would just go do my job. And if they want to send me home and fire me on the spot, that's how far I'm willing to go. And I know a lot of people aren't willing to go that far, but this is why everyone in your own situation, you know your life and your situation better than anyone else. You know it better than Dr. Ben, okay? You need to do your best to find the like-minded people who understand your situation, and it's solution time. It's solution time. It's no longer staring at the problem, because it's human nature to look at the problem and panic and fight or flight, right? You start to panic, and that's what's happening. Everyone's just panicking because there's too many problems being thrown at us at once. And I'm telling you all, it's all a crime against humanity. This is all an outrageous violation of the Nuremberg Code. It really is. So once again, officers, start looking into the law, not just our own domestic laws, but look into international law, look into human rights laws. You should be doing this anyways, because you work at the border and you deal with foreign nationals all the time. Okay, so wake up, everybody. This is outrageous. This is all a crime against humanity, and it doesn't end by asking for permission. It doesn't. When is tyranny ever being defeated by being polite? So no, I'm not systems, because I'm sure there's a way to send emails and do all of that. Oh, am I still here? You're still here. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. So don't conform to their nonsense. You guys need to be creative and take a real stand in your workplace, wherever it is. Seriously, guys, this is life or death for some people. It's life or death for some people. So for you, it might not be. You might have taken the jab because you're 35 years old and you're healthy and you didn't really see the big deal. But your coworker, you don't know their health situation. Their hematocrit levels might be insanely high, and potentially that shot could instantly give them a heart attack, right? These are things that like you're not thinking of. So take a stand, because if you care about your coworkers, if you care about your fellow, to happen, stop being so self for some people, for a lot of people. Still here? I can never tell with Instagram. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, we're running out of time. We may have to do another one if you're up for it. I would
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Comments and everything, and I feel like we barely got started in what we wanted to talk about. But I think I say that you're right, that this isn't going to be defeated by, filling out paperwork, getting an exemption, inquiring. It's gotta be loud like you, and I appreciate you setting an example, and be willing to sacrifice yourself, your career, all that, because that's what it's going to take. Right now, I have just announced in Arizona the naturopathic school, the natural medicine school, just announced that all students need to get the jab by Friday, and so they're calling me panicking. What do we do? We got them like, you got to show up in mass, you got to be in numbers, and tell them that you're going to come to class anyway, and you're going to come to clinic anyway, and you're going to come to lab anyway, and come at me, bro.
No. Yeah, like we don't get our freedoms back after this. You give it up, they're gone. They're gone. So we can't accept this. We can't allow this to happen. I don't know if you have time later today, but I have some time today or tomorrow or whatever. We can figure out another time to get this done as soon as possible, because I like your platform. I love your audience. I love that it's in the US. I want the US to understand too, like, hey, we have different governments, but we're all the same people. We're all the same people. I've worked at the border for 5 years. There's family. We're so connected. It's insane. It's an imaginary line separating us. The fact that we've been kept separate for over a year and a half is fucking outrageous. Outrageous.
And you guys are a preview of what we're going to get. So if you guys fall to tyranny, so, I'm a Jew. I was raised as a kid, never again, and they said first they came for these people, I wasn't one of them. Then they came for these people, and I wasn't one of them. Well, they're coming for the Canadians. I'm not a Canadian, but I'm not waiting for them to come to me. Yeah. They're naturopathic students. They're coming for the hospital nurses. I'm not a hospital nurse. I'm not a naturopath student. But I will help defend you guys, because I know that I'm next if I don't help you stand up. Yeah. So let's end it at that. Let's communicate offline, and we'll set up another one. Thank you so much, Patrick. And,
let's do, brother.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Will do, man. Will do. All right, brother. Love you. Ciao.